and so on and so forth. The association achieves its objectives by executing programs. And some of these programs, or some of the current ones that we know about, some of them include the World Bank Centers of Excellence, where I'm happy to see some of their staff here. Please, raise your hand, let us recognize you. The World Bank representative, yes, yes. So he's from the World Bank Center of Excellence in Kumasi. Why am I interested to single him out? This is about the current phase of this program. It's about the biggest project the World Bank executed. It's about $300 million over a 4-year period. And to this regard, they saw no other body fitter to implement this project than the Association of African Universities. We executed the first phase, which was about 200 million, and it's about ending now. And we are going to the next phase, which is currently about 300 million, which has actually started. I'm sure some of your universities actually won, won the competition to become centers of excellence. The association also engages in a lot of capacity building programs, some in the areas of workshops. And I'm very happy as I stand here today to see the maiden edition of the finance workshops. I know, sitting in your offices, you've always been processing payments for those going on workshops. And I'm sure you may have asked yourself, when are the finance people also going to have theirs? Well, we have started the hours, and it's going to move on. We have a whole bunch of capacity building programs scheduled for the finance people. Good. I will now touch briefly, I wouldn't go so much, briefly on the role of the 21st century accountants. Formally, or even now, it is the thinking that accountants should be technocrats. Review budgets, help approve budgets, make sure controls are being implemented, ensure with other compliance activities, which are mainly very technical. This role, I must say, has been evolving. The role of the finance officer, especially the chief finance officer, whichever designation he may go by, is now also incorporating a lot of advisory roles. I would say, and I'm proud to say, among all the professions, is a finance profession whereby we are trained to understand almost every aspect of every business. If you don't understand it, you are in trouble, because payment from every department will pass through your desk. And if you don't understand what you are paying for, then you are in trouble. So by necessity, we are trained to understand every aspect of every business. And as a result of that, we are slowly becoming, and I will happily say, key advisors to the senior management of every organization, including the chief executive officers. So, as I emphasized, our role now is slowly evolving to be advisory, and also let your organization gain value and help it in the continuous learning and development process. And these are some of the areas that this workshop will focus on. Our focus, you learn a little bit on the issues of the technical areas, but then, as I mentioned, in terms of the advisory role, as well as other soft skills, the workshop will also emphasize on these areas. In terms of the objectives, and I will sum them up, the objectives and the outcomes as I do my rendition. In the process of this workshop, you are supposed to develop a broad-based knowledge in non-financial business areas. For instance, at the Association of African Universities, I use my own example here. Technically, I'm the director of finance, but then I find myself also giving assistance in program areas because of our knowledge. At least when a program is being developed, if nothing at all, a budget will be developed based upon all the activities of the project. I need to make sure I understand these activities very well before I can assist my program officers with this. You may also learn how to focus more on value-added services, how you can take your organization forward. And I'm happy most of you here are from higher education. In higher education, there are certain quality standards that we need to know. Some two popular ones, which you should be able to equip yourself with before you leave here, are the African standards and guidelines. These are quality assurance standards which are supposed to guide us in all aspects of the university activities. And you will be a key advisor to your senior management. You need to understand this. We also have what we call the Africa Quality Rating Mechanism, which has a beautiful questionnaire which touches on almost every aspect, I would say every aspect of university education or university business. Let me put it that way. That's the language we understand. So when you are operating a university, what are the areas that you need to look at? If you're looking at quality standards, what should you be comparing yourself to? And so on and so forth. We're looking at academia, we're looking at student services, we're looking at support services. The AQRM, popular, that's what is the acronym for it, the Africa Quality Rating Mechanism, has these questionnaires which touches on every aspect. And I believe you, once you go through all these things, at the end of it all, you'll be able to advise your institutions very well. We will also touch on areas of resource mobilization, which is an area which is increasing for universities. Traditionally, in Africa, our main sources of funding for higher education institutions may either be government subvention or, in the case of the private universities, student fees. There are other areas that we can also focus on. And this workshop will make sure that before you leave here, you also have knowledge of the sources of funding. What does it take to be able to mobilize funds for your institutions? You are not just going to be the person who will approve and spend, but you're also going to be a core member of the team who will help mobilize resources. I know over here, if you are to discuss the sources of funding, probably the four which may come out will be government subvention, fee, consultancy fees, and so on and so forth. But as the course moves on, you may be able to come out. Off my head, I can count at least 14 sources. At least 14 sources for higher education institutions. And these are areas that you will cover. Okay. You also learn areas or the concept of, for some of us, it may still be a concept of lean systems. When we say you're operating lean systems, and so what does it mean? What does it take to be operating along lean lines, or the concept of leans, and so on and so forth? At the end of the course, we expect you to be able to equip yourself, to be able to advise your management very well. Give them high-value advisory services to move your organization services, your higher education institutions. You'll be skilled not only in the areas of financial management, but also in the areas of quality assurance. Not necessarily that you are going to be quality assurance managers, but then when we talk about quality assurance in higher educations, at least you know the various facets which should be covered. I wouldn't want to talk a lot. I think I'm already talking too much. So I will say thank you all for participating in this maiden workshop. And I wish you very well and enjoy a fruitful workshop. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Maxwell-Ahod. At this point, we would want to all go down because we want to remember the maiden event. So we want to take a photograph, a group photograph, and then after, we'll gather here again, and then we'll begin the main business of the day. Thank you so much. So we are just stepping down. We'll take a group picture, then we'll come back. We are doing that within just 15 minutes. Thank you.